This regular meeting of the Judson Board of Trustees is hereby called to order at 5:31 p.m. I am very pleased that you have taken the time to join us this evening. As the Judson Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals and policies and oversee the management of the district. We are responsible for approving budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and to listen to reports from the superintendent. We are not here to make administrative or management decisions pertaining to the daily operations of the district. This is the responsibility of the superintendent. In compliance with the State Government Code on Open Meetings, tonight's agenda has been appropriately posted. This is a meeting in public, not a meeting of the public. As our guests, you are welcome to observe and listen. These proceedings are being video and audio recorded and will become part of Judson's permanent legal record. In order that the tape adequately reflects these proceedings, please silence your mobile devices and refrain from talking while others are speaking. Since it is legally mandated that these proceedings are recorded accurately, I may have to ask for order periodically should I notice that disruptions are interfering with our recording capabilities. Once again, I extend to each of you a sincere welcome from the entire school board. Thank you for your interest in Judson ISD. We have established quorum, and I will call roll. You can mark your attendance. One more time, Laura. There we go. All right, and all 7 members are present. Let me record that. Perfect. Okay, all right. Next up on our agenda, my things, is the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, our invocation is going to be given by Pastor Robert Nappage, and I'm not going to say any more about him because he's going to be highlighted in a moment later in our recognitions. So if we could all please rise for the invocation and the pledge.
Good evening. Thank you, President, members of the board, and Superintendent, for inviting me to be with you tonight. It's an honor to offer the invocation as you begin this new school year. Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you for the start of a new school year, for all the hope, opportunity, and growth that it brings. We lift up the students of Judson ISD, those entering a classroom for the first time to those beginning their final year, and every student in between. May this year be filled with learning, discovery, friendship, and confidence. We give thanks for teachers who prepare lessons, administrators and staff who support each campus, for bus drivers, cafeteria workers, custodians, counselors, coaches, and all those who make each school day possible. We also remember the parents and families who entrust their children to this district. Grant them peace and encouragement as this year begins. As this board begins its work tonight, bless its members with wisdom, patience, clarity, and courage. When disagreements arise, help them listen with respect. In every decision, remind them of the students whose lives and futures are shaped by the work done here. May our shared desire to see every child flourish guide all discussions and choices. Bless all who learn, teach, serve, and lead in Judson ISD. Watch over this district throughout the year, and may what is done tonight serve our schools, our community, and the common good. Amen.
If you can remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag and the Texas Pledge. On the Texas flag. You may be seated.
Okay, we're rearranging a few things on the agenda in terms of recognitions. We used to put our proclamations and things that were going on that were great in the next month down under the consent agenda, but these things deserve to be recognized at the beginning of the meeting under our recognitions. So we'd like to acknowledge several observances coming up between now and our next regular board meeting, especially because a number of them involve our students and our staff. So August 26th is Women's Equality Day. This commemorates the certification of the 19th Amendment, which guaranteed women the constitutional right to vote. We acknowledge the generations of women who work to expand opportunity and equality in our country, as well as the women who lead, teach, serve, and inspire students throughout Judson today. As we enter September, we also acknowledge National Preparedness Month. This observance reminds us all of the importance of being prepared for emergencies before they occur. We thank our Judson ISD Police Department, Safety and Security Team, campus leaders, employees, first responders, and community partners who work throughout the year to keep our students and staff safe. September 7th through the 11th is National Payroll Week. We acknowledge and thank our payroll professionals for the important work they do behind the scenes to support thousands of Judson ISD employees. Their accuracy, professionalism, and dedication help ensure that the people who serve our students are supported. September 8th is International Literacy Day. Literacy is the foundation for learning and opportunity. As a school district, few responsibilities are more important than ensuring every child becomes a strong and confident reader. We recognize our teachers, librarians, reading specialists, families, and everyone across Judson ISD working each day to help our students develop the literacy skills they need to succeed in school and throughout their lives. September 11th is Patriot Day and Texas First Responders Day. We will pause that day to remember the lives lost on September 11th, 2001, and to honor the extraordinary courage and sacrifice demonstrated by first responders that day and every day since. We also recognize and thank the first responders who serve our community, including our Judson ISD Police Department and our local law enforcement, fire, EMS, and emergency personnel. Thank you for your service and for your commitment to keeping our students, staff, families, and communities safe. September 13th through the 19th is National Suicide Prevention Week. This is an important reminder of our responsibility to support the well-being of our students and create schools where every student feels safe, valued, connected, and knows there is someone they can turn to for help. We recognize our counselors, social workers, educators, families, and community partners who work every day to support our students. September 13th through the 19th is also National Arts and Education Week. The arts are an important part of a well-rounded education. They give our students opportunities to discover their talents, express themselves, build confidence, develop creativity, and discipline. We proudly recognize our Judson ISD students and the outstanding educators who support them in band, choir, orchestra, theater, dance, visual arts, and fine arts programs throughout our district. September 15th through October 15th is National Hispanic Heritage Month. We proudly celebrate the history, culture, achievements, and contributions of Hispanic and Latino Americans, including the students, families, educators, staff, and community members who contribute so much to Judson ISD. The diversity of our community is one of our greatest strengths, as we heard in our community meetings, and this month provides an opportunity for our students to learn about and celebrate the rich heritage represented throughout our district. Okay, those are the things coming up between now and September 20th. And now we do have one Community Connection Award, so if the board can meet me down below.
Thank you, Board. The Judson ISD Community Connections Award honors an organization that makes a positive impact on our school community through dedication, collaboration, and innovation. This evening, we'd like to invite Pastor Nappage back to the front, along with his friends from Alamo United Methodist Church, to accept the Community Connections Award. United Methodist Church is already making a difference at Candlewood STEM Academy this school year. The congregation donated more than 1,000 composition books to support student learning and is currently lending a donation drive for socks and undergarments for Candlewood students, helping ease some of the burden on families. The pastor's email signature includes a quote attributed to John Wesley: "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can." We would like to thank Alamo United Methodist Church for the good they have done and continue to do in support of the students and families of Candlewood STEM Academy. We appreciate your partnership and the positive difference you're making in Judson ISD. Thank you. And those are all the recognitions. Thank you.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the public comment period. This is a time for citizens, staff, parents, or students to provide their comments to the board. A meeting that is open to the public under the Act is one that the public is entitled to attend. However, the Act does not give the public a right to speak at such public meetings except through proper channels. Before we begin, I will remind our audience members of the board's procedures for handling public comment. Anyone who wanted to speak during the public comment portion of this meeting was required to sign up prior to the start of the meeting. For each public comment speaker will be allowed to speak a maximum of 3 minutes. Yielding of time to other speakers is not permitted. Speakers need to keep their comments civil and courteous and avoid using profanity. Speakers will not be allowed to discuss students who are not their own. While speakers may criticize any act, omission, policy, procedure, program, or service of the board, personal attacks or complaints about individuals will not be allowed. If you have a specific complaint against an individual, I'm required to stop you and direct you to seek resolution through the district's grievance process, DGBA for employee complaints, FNG for parent or student complaints, and GF for community complaints. Grievance forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or in the central administration offices. Okay, our first public speaker is Melissa Lozano, and Robin Grimes is on deck.
Good evening, members of the board and superintendent. My name is Melissa Lozano. I am Judson Education Association president. I've taught in Judson ISD for 27 years, and I am a taxpayer in Judson ISD. I'm here tonight because every decision we make in this room comes down to two priorities: driving student achievement and protecting our budget. Right now, we must look at the hard data. Overcrowded classrooms may look like a way to save money on paper, but decades of independent, peer-reviewed educational research shows that high student-to-teacher ratios directly cause lower academic performance. On national standardized testing like the NAEP, class size consistently emerges as the single most reliable predictor of academic success, surpassing school size in even administrative programming. Second, high ratios widen the achievement gap. In contrast, smaller class size environments double the rate of achievement academic gains for at-risk groups. Educational research has long demonstrated that students benefit from smaller classes because teachers can provide more individualized instruction, build stronger relationships, and respond more quickly to learning gaps. In smaller learning environments, students are more likely to participate, stay engaged, and receive the support necessary to reach academic standards. If you're serious about raising student achievement, we must be serious about staffing classrooms appropriately. Lowering student-to-teacher ratios is not an expense. It is an investment in academic performance, teacher retention, and the long-term success of our students. Judson ISD students deserve classrooms where they are known, supported, and taught effectively. Our teachers deserve the conditions necessary to help them succeed. I urge the board to make reducing student-to-teacher ratios a priority. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Lozano. Next up is Robin Grimes, and on deck is Roxana Garcia.
Good evening, everyone. Have you ever heard the phrase, "You don't know what you have until it's gone"? The dyslexia department has had to face the harsh reality of this statement with the loss of our dyslexia coordinator, Stephen Tobias. I ask that each of you collaborate with one another and permanently reinstate Mr. Tobias as the dyslexia and 504 coordinator, effective immediately. His removal from this position has left our department in shambles. With all due respect, a replacement cannot emulate or pretend to understand what Mr. Tobias has mastered in the 4 years he has worked alongside us. The decision to leave us without the exact leader who has helped to build one of the best dyslexia departments in Texas is truly unacceptable. This is in no way the person's fault who the district has put in his place. I'm sure she would like nothing more than to give her department 100% of her leadership abilities. Mr. Tobias has the knowledge base to guide, mentor, and grow 34 therapists while successfully managing a total caseload of 2,630 students with either dyslexia or a 504 plan. While remaining dedicated to these two departments, he has gone back to college to acquire his PhD in educational and community leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, why has a leader of this caliber been reassigned to a caseload of 8 to 10 students at the elementary level that was vacant and managed by a substitute last year? This still has not been communicated to us by district that claims they are being transparent about the decisions they are making with the students in mind. We need to have a confident leader that can answer our questions efficiently while valuing our time, can secure position allotments on the campuses to ensure all students are receiving the services they legally deserve, can order student materials, can schedule professional development and trainings that are relevant to our positions, can ensure that TEA guidelines and procedures are followed and adhered to for kinder and first grade dyslexia screeners, can ensure that our students are coded accurately in Skyward and Frontline, and that the students' Lexia accounts are managed correctly, can continue his outreach program with surrounding colleges to attract highly qualified individuals to join our very highly qualified team, and can mentor new therapists that navigate through an intense 2-year master level training program. That leader is Mr. Tobias. In conclusion, let me say that we do matter. Unfortunately, we have been made to feel the complete opposite by having to continuously fight for what is right. We were overlooked when we asked for a stipend. We even came back a second time with the evidence you requested showing what stipends surrounding districts were giving their calls. By then, it was too late. The budget was decided on. Stipends were readjusted to be comparable to the market with all other positions, and we were forgotten once again. We were overlooked when we asked that our title be changed from teacher to therapist to reflect what we truly are as professionals and the certifications we have earned. Now you have taken away the one person who can lead this dream team, our coordinator, Mr. Tobias. Thank you for your time. I truly hope someone tonight is listening because we are not okay.
Thank you, Ms. Grimes. Next up is Roxana Garcia, and on deck is Marisol Jacques. I probably said your last name wrong, but please tell me what it is when it's your turn. Thank you.
Hello, I hope this letter finds you well. My name is Roxana Garcia, and I'm a dyslexia therapist at Spring Meadows College Prep. I'm addressing the recent removal of our dyslexia coordinator, Mr. Stephen Tobias. He was moved from his position as our dyslexia coordinator and placed as a SPED teacher at Elof Elementary. This letter is to ask those in charge of making this decision to please reinstate him as our dyslexia coordinator. Moving Mr. Tobias affects our students because his leadership is essential to our department. During our 2 professional development days of training, we discussed plans for the year that include changes to our dyslexia supplement, necessary department trainings, dyslexia night, and other staffing protocols. We were provided a replacement who is doing her very best to be there for us. Our group does require a lot of guidance, but learning the ins and outs of this department is challenging. So what tools has she been given? It took Mr. Tobias 4 years to learn the ins and outs of dyslexia and what it means to be a certified academic language therapist. He understands the services we provide and how to be a mediator when required. He supported me in meetings when I did not have 100% confidence to conduct them independently. Mr. Tobias is currently working on his doctorate, which shows his commitment to his position, and while he is professional and he will probably never complain, he deserves to be in his position. He's earned it through experience and merit. He has held this department together and supports us not just as employees, but as humans. He has been the cohesive link to our group, which provides morale to an amazing group that I'm very proud to be a part of. Without him, we face much uncertainty during an audit year. His leadership and support are key to our team's success, and we all benefit from his experience and knowledge. I hope you will reconsider your decision and bring Mr. Tobias back as our dyslexia coordinator. His role is very important for our students, and his leadership makes a big difference in our department. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. All right, next up is Marisol Jacques, and after that is Lucian Anderson.
It's Marisol Jaques.
But say your last name for me.
Jaques.
Oh, I was completely wrong, and I apologize. Thank you, ma'am.
Dear members of the board and district leadership team, I did not choose this district because it was a convenient place for me to work. I live outside of this district, but choose to work here because I want to be part of the Judson dyslexia team. I came to Judson as a fully certified academic language therapist, but had the opportunity to choose where I wanted to build my career. I chose Judson because of the strength of its dyslexia program and its commitment to students. The strength of this team doesn't just come from the highly qualified therapists who work here, but also from the leadership Mr. Tobias has provided for the past 4 years. Do you want me to start over? Mr. Tobias has been pulled from this position twice. We have been left wondering how this instability affects the students we work with. I cannot fully describe the scope of Mr. Tobias' responsibilities in this letter alone, and Ms. Grimes has pretty much gone through a lot, and I don't want to repeat myself saying some of the stuff that she already went through. But we are left with a lot of questions regarding his vacancy. Who is responsible for ensuring that one's campus staffing needs do not negatively affect another campus' ability to serve its students. And I'm sorry, but I just got braces, so it's kind of hard for me to start. Mr. Tobias has demonstrated a commitment to our students and our staff. His leadership provides the consistency and expertise necessary to manage the many responsibilities that come with overseeing our dyslexia program. I chose this district because I believe in the strength of this department and its commitment to putting students first. I continue to believe this, which is why I'm asking you to carefully consider reinstating Mr. Tobias as the leader of our dyslexia team. I want to sincerely thank you for the time to listen to my concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Jaquez. Okay, next up is Lucian Anderson, and he will be followed by Mark McGarity.
Hello, I am Lucian Anderson, and I currently attend Judson Learning Academy. I'm also a teen father, and I work at Sonic. Anyways, so currently Judson Learning Academy, we've been going through some struggles currently. So 3 days before school started, they told us Canvas is gone. Canvas is 90% of the way we do all of our work. So to take away our ability to do work, it kind of hurt us, let's just say a little bit. But other than that, it's just been moving piece after moving piece, like 3 days. And they don't know what to do. And now they're going to get hit with Google Classroom, everyone's favorite platform that totally is so great for teachers. Other than that, it's been pretty cool, pretty smooth running at JLA our last couple of days. But I feel like currently our district is looking more at the numbers and treating students more like numbers rather than people. That's currently my position on the issue. Why am I so nervous, guys? You guys know why I'm so nervous? Anyway, I haven't spoke around this many people in a while. But anyways, so I think we have a lot of elementary school moms, and that's what you guys hear from when you guys get your input. And I have the experience of going to school through 6th grade to 12th grade, and I know what it's like. I know what it's like to see someone go through a mental health episode, and I don't think that's being represented by the people at the board. I think the over-focus on data is hurting us, because when you have a student that is going through mental health issues, you don't have a good student. They might give you A scores, but they won't give you an A personality when they're done with it. They won't be able to handle what it's like to work a tough 12-hour shift and then be done with it and have to go home and not crash down because they got to work another 12-hour shift as a nurse the day after. Oh my gosh, guys. Anyways, but I'm trying. But yeah, I just want the district, I want the personnel at the district to understand when you make small little attacks, sometimes it's not attack, small little changes, it turns into a big change, right? The micro things you do can turn into macro things you do. So that's all I have to say. And thank you for letting me speak here, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm just a normal 17-year-old.
Thank you, Lucian. We do love hearing from our students, and I love how you've been engaged in some of the other community meetings and things we've had, so I hope you stay engaged. I appreciate it. So, okay, next up is Mark McGarity, and on deck will be Catherine McGarity.
Thank you for granting me the time to speak today. My name is Mark McGarity, and I'm currently here because of my best friend. He committed suicide from bullying, and that is something we don't want. Today, on a deeply personal and important matter, I suffered the devastating loss of my best friend, who took their own life after facing several relentless bullying. Processing this tragedy has been incredibly painful, but has also brought a profound sense of responsibility. No one should ever have to endure the isolation and despair that comes from being targeted and mistreated. To honor my friend's memory, I'm committing myself to advocate for greater empathy and inclusivity and mental health awareness. I want to use this painful moment as a catalyst for meaningful change. Ensuring we foster environments both in our workspaces and a wider communities where people feel safe and valued and supported. I deeply appreciate the kindness and grace this board has shown me during this difficult time, and I look forward to finding ways we can work together to promote these vital values. A friend, a parent, a teacher, a loved one, or a child should never, ever have to be faced with only seeing their loved one through ashes, memories, pictures, a plaque on the wall, or clothes they were buried in. Judson, we have to do better. We have to. And that's all I have to say for today.
Thank you so much, Mark, and thank you for being brave enough to come speak to us. Okay, next up is Catherine McGarity.
I don't know how I'm supposed to go after all these people that I know y'all are super busy. I know Judson's got a lot of fixing to do, and I'm asking for one more favor for our future. I know that several of y'all have been in board meetings asking for change for the anti-bullying. It's very heavy on my heart. For the past 18 years, I've raised my children to be hopefully good members of Judson and to stay out of trouble and to work with you with what your school has requested of them as learners, as children, as in the future of y'all's school district. As we know that learning doesn't always just happen in the classroom. What you teach them is what they bring home, and what we teach them at home is what they take. We need to have a better collaborative between the two. I can only teach my children so much, but school and outside and environmental issues affect them. I would love to say that I've never had to face bullying with my children. 5 separate instances from middle school on for my children. One of them has lost their best friend. Were bullied after they lost their best friend. My 18-year-old who was in life skills was bullied when he was removed from his life skills because he met the academic, not the maturity, but the academic standards of what your teachers are teaching him. So they're hearing it, they're learning it, but he wasn't of the maturity. He was bullied, he was cornered in a classroom and almost jumped by 3 students. The teacher knew, the teacher reported it, it wasn't followed through, and it wasn't until my son tried to harm himself in the shower, being in a life skills student, not understanding what he was doing, but he knew that he was so upset. He spent 2 weeks in Clarity. He came back to the school. Then the school listened. We had a meeting. We had an officer who came in and made sure that the process of him coming back after him harming himself was okay. My son then was put into a classroom where he had to go for, because the STAR test was coming, a prep class, and a child called him retarded and jumped him after the class. This is all going on while his brother is mourning the loss of his best friend. When I asked my son why, because we have open communication, I know everything, and sometimes with boys that's a little too much, but we have open communication, and the reason that he told me is because he said, "Mom, my brother lost his best friend. I can deal with it." It's okay, Mom. Obviously, it's not okay when you start to harm yourself. Judson, we have to do better. Our math classes are changing. You're changing curriculum. You're changing history classes and availability. Change our bullying policy. Let's be in the news for something great for once. I'm here. I'm willing to work with whatever you need, whatever that looks like. These are our future. Read your mission statement. They are your future. You are pouring thousands of dollars into them. Let's make sure they can even make it.
Thank you, Ms. McGarity. Okay, that concludes our public comments for this evening. We'll now move on to the superintendent report. So, Dr. Dixon, I'll turn it over to you for school startup.
Couple of highlights. Enrollment continues to be a priority for us. It does drive our staffing and our finances. We are at 21,050 approximately. We staffed for 22,300, so we're short of just a little over 1,300 kids. Now, we will continue to gain students for the next couple of weeks, especially through Labor Day. So cheer us on for that. Some of our beginning of the year challenges, which are very typical for school districts, but we had a lot of them. We've had electrical outages, medical emergencies, fire activations, water problems, and we've responded to every one of them expeditiously with minimal lost educational time. And I would really like to thank the staff for that. And we got kids back in. We are going to, because of our rebounding and some other considerations, our transportation department has changed. Routes have changed. Our loss and reduction of drivers, that's a statewide issue. We are going to implement a hazardous crossing request and review committee. And so there's some areas we just don't know about, and unless you tell us. And so we will have a form up on our website pretty soon that if you would like for us to review a crossing area, we don't arbitrarily put things on and take them off. When we become aware of something and we may have a hazardous crossing on there, and then improvements, a light goes up, sidewalks go in, things like that, we're not sure that y'all always know that. So we're going to really improve on that. The board is going to get reports, and the board is going to be approving the hazardous crossings after it goes through the committee review. I'd like to ask Dr. Gosh at this time to give the intruder detection audit report.
So we have been contacted by TEA that they will begin the process of doing our intruder detections. They always do as of the start of school, but for the first week of school, we have not had any, so I have nothing to report.
Thank you. That is all, Ms. President.
Okay, and then I'll turn it over to you for your third item, accountability ratings.
Can we ask any questions?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, let's pause. Any questions on school startup or intruder detection?
Transportation.
Yes.
Do we know how many hazardous crossings we have for students to walk through? I'm aware of 2. Do we have an idea?
Yes, we have a little bit more than that. I'm looking for Mr. Stewart.
So we're not necessarily looking at just a crossing. We're looking at a neighborhood and how they would get to school from where they live. So it's typically not just a single crossing that would make it hazardous or not. So I think the last report that we had showed about 15 hazardous areas, communities within our district that we are transporting students from.
And we're currently reevaluating that, and you are going to see a board item specifically designating not just each road, but the community as a hazardous route. And you'll see the details in the resolution that we're going to bring to the board.
What all do we look at? What aspects of the trip from home to school do we assess?
So first and foremost would be the walk path,
Right?
whether there's a clear walk path for students to get from point A to point B. Speed limits, line of sight on the roads. If it's a major intersection, is there a crosswalk with pedestrian crossing? Those type of things. So
So do we have an idea of how many issues we're trying to correct?
I don't think that, if I may,
Well, I think that's
Not-
why they're going to put up something on the website, because so many routes changed, so that's the issue. It's the new routes or the new non-routes that hadn't been analyzed before. So that's why I think they're going to put a form up, and if you believe you have a hazardous route, they'll submit it on there, and then you all will form the committee, do the hazardous route analysis, and then if the committee recommends it or not recommends it, I guess, then either way, then you'll bring that to the board.
in
Based on-
2013, that was the last hazardous routes review by the board. So since then, many of the routes that were considered hazardous and was at one point in time were recently reevaluated when we had to add additional routes due to school consolidation. So routes have changed. Some of the routes that were once considered hazardous, there's been infrastructure improvement, there's been lights, there's been crosswalks, sidewalks. So with that, some of the, what used to be a hazardous route is no longer a hazardous route. That's where we're seeing some of the pain points right now, because there's no longer transportation provided within a less than 2-mile radius. And so as these routes have changed, because of the changes, we're going to be bringing that board item to you so that you can see which are now the hazardous routes, which are a lot less than what they used to be from 2013. So we want to go ahead and update the community. You're going to see those posted on our website, and you're going to see a form that if a community member or parent believes or disagrees and would like for it to be reevaluated, there will be a specific committee. We're going to name the committee who will be a part of that, how it will be reevaluated, and the points process. That's going to be very transparent. That's definitely a room for improvement in our transportation. And one of the things we want to make sure is that everybody understands how we get to that.
Is that something that
decision.
is being expedited? Because obviously,
Absolutely.
every day, kids are having to walk
Absolutely.
possibly not good
Well,
pathways. And so parents need to have a quick way to reach someone in charge. We got an email, all of us got an email from a parent, couple parents that were concerned about their particular path. But you're going to have a committee?
the committee will be the committee that evaluates the route that someone is requesting could possibly be hazardous. Some of the emails that you're receiving now is because they were hazardous back in 2013, when they were last presented to the board, and have been reevaluated and are no longer considered hazardous. People may disagree with that. And so presenting it to the board will give us an opportunity so that we might provide in detail why they're no longer considered hazardous with an in-depth presentation.
Because we have some new walkways, right?
What she's saying is most of the emails we've gotten, Laura, are because it used to be a route because there was never a sidewalk on that road. And in the last 13 years, there's now sidewalks on those roads. There are now crosswalks on those roads. So they no longer meet hazardous route criteria. And we have to be careful with that because that involves funding. So if it's declared a hazardous route, it has to meet certain criteria, and then we get extra funding from the state to bus those students. So we can't just declare everything hazardous and go get a bunch of money from TEA, because they're going to come down, and then they're going to start scrutinizing so they have to be very clear with that. But that's most of the emails we have gotten have been previous hazardous routes that now have sidewalks and crosswalks, so we can't call them hazardous routes anymore, and we can't get funded from TEA for them.
And we're limited from TEA, only 10% of our routes can be hazardous.
Okay. So if we declare too many, then, yeah, we're not going to get funding. So, yeah, I think that's, any of the emails you've got, make sure those get over to Dr. Dixon, too, so that they're in the pile if any board member gets any emails like that. I try and make sure, if you're not on it, I just forward it over to you, so that when they're doing this new analysis, they can explain to us why certain ones were removed and why certain ones need to be put on.
And to clarify, we are reviewing as we're receiving. What we're trying to create is a more transparent and a more expeditious, but all of the emails that you have received, we have reviewed and we have responded to the parents. So
Okay, because there are some new routes, are there not?
Oh, yeah.
there are new
Right.
routes that are created, absolutely, we had to create more routes. But the emails that you have received have been routes that were considered hazardous at one point in time, that were less than a 2-mile radius, remember that we are not required to provide transportation if it's less than 2 miles. But we have because they are considered hazardous. And now that they've been reevaluated, more than 10 years later, there's been improvements to the road. They're no longer considered hazardous, and that becomes an issue, right? When you're used to receiving that transportation and then it's no longer provided. And
Right.
so a perfect example would be an area where there used to be transportation provided to the middle school students, but there has never been transportation provided to the elementary.
And
Well,
they
that
walk
should
the
have-
same exact walk path. So it just didn't make any sense. So.
Yeah.
So as we're taking a look at our number of bus drivers, at our number of routes, which of course we have more routes than we do have bus drivers, we are reevaluating what used to be a non-hazardous route that is clearly no longer hazardous. And I understand that there's going to be a difference of opinion. So by creating that transparency, we can be able to better explain, here is why not.
Well, I love the idea of a committee that parents can reach out directly to, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Right, so you're looking to expedite the creation of that committee and then have a contact posted on the
Yeah.
website?
But prior to the committee, we're checking everyone.
Still-
Every
okay.
email we
Yes.
get, they investigate that.
Okay.
And the best eyes out there are our drivers. They're the ones, I mean, a road could close and we may not know. This hazardous route doesn't have to be initiated by a parent. It can be initiated by a storefront or somebody that
Who
says.
sees it.
So we're doing those continuously. We're not waiting for this
Okay.
committee. We just want you to know we're going to get more organized.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
I have a follow-up to that the commentary. In 2011, we did initiate a pay-to-ride concept. Is that still something that we're practicing or not?
I don't think we would have the drivers even if we had the money.
Which is where I understand some of our decisions would be strategic based on personnel.
Yeah.
I get that. And so we have to work with what we have. And, but the pay-to-ride that this board passed in 2011 was designed to look at those routes that were under the 2 mile, and the parent would pay for that service. And we tried it for a while. I just don't know how successful it was or what ended up happening with it. But we did it for a few years, that I remember.
I've been limited in what I can find in board book because much of the 2013 was not in board book. I happened to find it by some of Ms. Holmes' generous documentation that she has, but I don't have documentation of what was approved or the specificity of many of the things that were approved. So we aren't necessarily starting with a clean slate because a hazardous route review committee is something that is standard. What we're trying to do is be more transparent about what we're doing. So for example, an email, we email back the parent. What I would like to see is something where people can see already which routes have been evaluated so that we don't reevaluate again. And we can clearly state the reasons why it is or it is not a hazardous route. And that's what you'll see in this upcoming board item.
Well, I'll look for information because I have information regarding the pay-to-ride. It was one of my agenda items back in 2011. And so I'll circle back with Dr. Dixon. We can talk through that to see what happened. Certainly, there should be some data in some way. Was it utilized? Was it underutilized? Was it effective? We don't know. That's management stuff, right? All I know is I was trying to address a concern by parents that wanted service that this ended up helping. At least I think so. So we'll circle back with that. When you put the emails out to parents, do you put the criteria on our website on what the hazardous route criteria is? That it must be no sidewalks, that there's no crosswalks, that there's traffic speed 50 miles an hour. Are those things put on there?
The last response that I saw to a parent clearly explained why it was no longer hazardous, and it explained those details that you just shared.
Well, thank you.
Could I ask a follow-up to that just before district spends any of their precious time? So when you guys did pay to ride, so our economically disadvantaged students, they just didn't have that option? Like only the affluent families could pay and get a bus because that That seems to
don't
go
know.
against a lot of our
That was a
board
decision-
things.
This was the decision the board made last time.
Okay.
I don't think we were charging like $1 million for it. It was cost effective, and if we really want to get detailed, we can even do it based on income, just like anything else. But there was an initiative to address those areas. Now, mind you, 2011 to 2026, big difference in time. So that may not be as applicable, but I do know that we put that through. And so the specifics, I don't know, but that's why I think we should reevaluate.
Okay, anything else on school startup?
Yes, I have questions.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Yes, the transportation was just a follow-up to Ms. Stanford's question. But just for my clarity, you leveraged the average, I'm not average, the attendance being somewhat 1,300 students down.
Yes.
But when we do budgets, we do it based on the ADA, right, the average daily attendance? So when we're budgeting, I'm just trying to clarify if anything's changed or not. And when I looked at our budgets for when we approved them in June, the average daily attendance was 21,000. So in my mind, I'm thinking we're staffing to ADA, not to enrollment, which helps me think that we're not as far. So I just need some clarity on that, that's
Yeah,
all.
that's, no.
Okay.
We jokingly call it butts in a seat.
Okay,
That's what we staff for. And we know that ADA is
that's how we're
95.
paid, right?
No,
We're paid through ADA, or
we're paid ADA, but we staff for attendance, for enrollment. So our enrollment is 21,050. Our ADA is probably going to be 1980, 1988.
So it will go less proportionally, because we had
Yes.
21,000 as our ADA last year.
Yes, yes.
Based on the, yeah.
Yes.
There is a revenue impact on that.
Okay. And then, in terms of the startup, some of the things that I've heard that were concerning were that we had teachers reassigned literally day one of school and sent to other campuses. So, again, that's management, but that's never a good thing. I helped my daughter move into her classroom, and I can't imagine having to take everything down and then move it to another campus on the same day. So I'm hoping that that's an anomaly in things.
Well, I will completely take responsibility for that. In the past, y'all have not done that until September through October. And I think if we know that a teacher needs to be moved, we need to move them as soon as possible to get those classes leveled and they have the same teacher. Y'all have not done it, and you are correct, this early.
Yeah.
But we already know where teachers needed to be moved, and I would rather them get to their classroom as quickly as possible.
Okay. Well, it's noted, and you know that. And just, again, I've received a lot of communications from employees and members of the community regarding the decision that was made recently at the start of the year, where you restructured the curriculum department and also SPED, right? Where we had some speakers today talk about dyslexia. So there was some management decisions related to that fall under your scope. So for the sake of community input, I'm listening, I'm hearing, I will schedule time with Dr. Dixon, but clearly that falls under management of the district, and so I'll talk to Dr. Dixon about the rationale for those decisions. But she's authorized to do that, so it wasn't like you brought it to the board and said, can I do this? This is like,
That
Dr.
is
Dixon,
correct.
I want to do this, and you did it. So,
That's correct. We waited as long as we could. We were advertising, we were interviewing, and when we absolutely knew we were not going to have teachers in the classroom, we then started reviewing certifications. And we thought that classrooms were more important than offices, and that's what we did. And because we would have had 20 or 30 classes right now without a teacher. And right now, in fact, we did some leveling more today. The secondary are a little more challenging. It's easy to do an elementary classroom, how many they have, but math at a school or English, we think we will be moving some more tomorrow. We don't have still 2 math teachers at 2 of our middle schools, and we're going to get those there by next week. And we have made that conscious decision that children will be first in this school district, and teaching will be first in the classroom.
Well, and I can appreciate that. And so we've not had a chance to talk through that, and I do realize that there's some really difficult decisions. We can't have our classrooms without the level of talent in them. But I would say again, and respectfully pushing back, that everything that we do has an impact on students. And so my biggest concern, though, and just being transparent with my community, is that the board's ability to evaluate your performance is based on annual evaluations that won't exist for you because you're not going to be here. So just know that I take some of this very sensitively, what you do, and I will tell the community, Dr. Dixon has been phenomenal to work with. She's been very receptive to ideas, concepts, so we'll continue to work through it. But in a normal world, we would evaluate and say, okay, this directive ended up with this outcome, and this was not as favorable, and you've been a student, you know exactly how that goes. But we don't have that opportunity in this case, so we're going to have to really rely on communicating to make sure that we address the needs of our community. The last thing I want to do is just take a personal point of privilege to just commend our young speakers that spoke today. I hear them, I appreciate them. It gives me confidence that the next wave of leadership is coming and that we have real issues that need to be addressed. Bullying has been something that's been on my forefront since my first year as a board member. And so I just want to commend our young talent and know that I've also taken notice and appreciate you guys bringing that up and hopefully being part of the process as you continue to work with the district. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to share one kind of counter comment, I guess, to that, which is I've been talking to a lot of people on campuses, and I can't believe the overwhelmingly positive feedback that I'm getting, that for the first time, their classrooms are full, and there's not long-term subs, secretaries covering classrooms, there's not, 40 kids in a class, and the answer is, we're going to wait till October and we're going to level, right? I've heard that for every single year I've been here. Wait till October, have your 30, excuse me?
We've never waited till October.
I believe it's Labor Day, September.
Okay, sorry. I'll go back and find the board clip since you so rudely interrupted. And remember our new good governance handbook, if we can please be respectful and allow people to speak their opinions. Everyone's allowed their own opinion, please.
Well, please follow that as well when it's our turn to talk.
If we're done with the interruptions, I would like to finish what I was saying. Thank you. That our campuses are feeling so supported and their teams are coming together. And we never know on day one how many butts are going to be in which seats. We just can't. We do the best. The demographer tries to guess, and we staff the way we can, and people set up their classrooms. And then all of a sudden, 50 kids are over there, and they're not over there. And people have to move. And the teachers have appreciated that surge of realignment is happening so quickly, because there's nothing more heartbreaking than getting to know your class and then they get split, or getting to know your class and then you get moved. So the feedback from the campuses, the community may not understand always what we do and why we do it, but the feedback from the campuses is great. And again, that is your job, Dr. Dixon. This board has committed to staying in the strategic realm and empowering our superintendent to make the decisions that are best for student outcomes on the day-to-day management of the district. And so far, the feedback I'm getting is that you're getting that done, and it can be a little uncomfortable for a few adults. And if anybody needs help moving classrooms, any board member up here will show up with a pickup truck, and we will help you redecorate your new classroom. And we appreciate that you're going to be somewhere with kids who need you, and your willingness to move to where the students need you. Those are the kind of people we need in Judson, right? Those are the ones we need with our babies every single day who just want to teach kids. And it really doesn't matter which building you're in, because kids are kids and they're all beautiful. So I appreciate all the hard work and all the crucial conversations that have to be had with some of our staff and explaining what our kids need. So I appreciate how difficult this has been for everybody, but I think it's going to be great for kids. So
Thank you.
Okay, anything else on school startup? All right, I'll turn it over to you for accountability results. And
Mr.
Denise is over
Roscoe,
there. No.
I'm going to join her.
Yes, please do, ma'am.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board.
Denise, I think I'm gonna need you a little closer to the microphone. It's really not picking up
It
voices
seems a
as
little
well
bit
today. Thank
further
you.
than usual.
Okay,
Better?
that's much better.
Oh,
Thank you, ma'am.
a little bit too much. So before we begin, I want to apologize for sharing an earlier version of the PowerPoint. So if you printed it out, that one was a little bit too eager to make its debut. So what you will see may have some differences. So tonight is the look back on what happened last year. Throughout the summer, we were telling our story. So this is where our story ended, where we landed. So the work for this year, obviously, we've been talking about it already all night, has already begun, is moving forward. We have the LIFT grant, we have different items, we have our priorities. And so that will be shared throughout updates, Friday updates, and other board meetings. But for this is about our 2026 accountability results and the momentum that we have built and that we continue to build. So our theme this year for curriculum and instruction is building. We are building student success. We're building greater, higher outcomes. We're building capacity in our leaders, our teachers, ourselves. We're all learning. We can all learn something. So let's begin. So there's one system, of course, the accountability system. We have 27 current rated campuses. We do have 2 campuses that are operating that are under our CDCN numbers, our county district numbers. And that would be JCare and our Bexar County JJA. Those 2 are not rated. So we have those 2 campuses. And of course, part of our story ended with the closing of 8 campuses. They were part of our overall rating, but they're no longer active this year.
Sorry, Denise, can you explain 8 because everybody just freaked out?
Oh my
I know why
gosh.
it's 8, but can you please explain?
Yes, ma'am, most
what 8
definitely.
is?
So at the end of last year, there were 8 CDCN numbers. CDCN number is just like our ID number, the school's ID number. 4 of them were voted on for right sizing, the facilities, usage studies, the growth and planning committees, input, everything was taken into consideration for those 4. That would have been Judson Middle School and the 3 elementary schools. On the other side, some of you may remember that we had 4 new school models. We had the 2 STEM campuses, which are Candlewood and Kirby, and we also have 2 college prep, which are Spring Meadows and Woodlake Hills. Because of the grant we received for these new campuses, what happens is you phase out the original campus. So although we have 8, last year we were running 2 campuses at each of those. So there was Woodlake Hills Middle School that ended with 8th grade last year, and then Woodlake Hills College Prep, which had 6th and 7th. Same for, since we're talking about college prep, I'll do that with Spring Meadows. So Spring Meadows College Prep had pre-K through 2nd, while Spring Meadows Elementary School had 3rd through 5th grade. The grant is over. Those were the phase-out campuses, so we phased them out, closed those numbers, just kind of like turning off your phone number. I don't even know if I'm too old for that. I don't know if people know that anymore. So closed those numbers out. And now we have those 4 campuses. So on paper, next year, you're not going to see as many campuses listed because there will be 4 closed because of the right sizing and then 4 closed because of the grant. Good?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't want anybody to see 8 and not know those grant stories.
Sorry, up here I don't hear the gas because I
know you do it every day, so it's intuitive to you, but for the public watching, I wanted to make sure that was better. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So the big story, we're back to a C rating, yay. And I know that is, let us assure you, that is not our destination. The C rating is not our destination. The C rating is where we landed at the end of that story. We are already in our next story. And we know we are a higher rated district, and we know what our campuses can do, our teachers can do, our students can do, our leaders can do. And so it is important, though, to highlight that we're a C rating because a C is moving back to acceptable. We are no longer in need of improvement. We know we are still want to grow. It's a C. It's an acceptable. We want a B. We want an A one day. And we reached the C rating again because we did increase a couple of a couple of domains. We increased student achievement by 2 points and increased the academic growth by 3. So progress. Progress is looked at lots of different ways. I just said we had 27 operating campuses that earn ratings. This slide tells you 25. The reason is we had 2 brand-new campuses last year. We had Selma Elementary and we had Cibolo Creek Middle School. They don't have a historical rating. They couldn't hold on to their rating and they couldn't grow in their rating. So on this slide, we're talking about progress being reached by nearly every current comparable campus. So 21 of the 25 currently operating campuses, those that with a both 25 and 26 rating, held or improved their letter grades. It's 21 because we did have 2 campuses that earned an F, and we also had 2 that fell back a letter. But of these 21, we had 9 move up a letter grade, 5 earned double-digit gains, and we have 3 A-rated campuses. Our biggest leaps from the currently operating campuses, we have Escondido Elementary with a scale score gain of 24 points. Excellent. We have Masters close to them with 19 points. And I want you to know that these 2 campuses jumped 2 letter grades. So both of those campuses went from Fs, not to Ds, but Cs. So they effectively cleared out their turnaround plans, and they are, I always like to say C is for clear. They are cleared with the state right now. And then we also have some other double-digit performers. We have JLA and Converse and Pashal with 11 and 10 points. So going back to the student growth, just another way to look at it, the 4 domains that we reviewed during the summer, we have domain 1 with the student achievement, domain 2A with the academic growth, and domain 2B, the relative performance, and of course, the closing the gap. So we are moving in those first ones. If you're making a higher score on your test, then you're showing academic growth, which is great. Again, our story is already starting this year. Our relative performance was the same. And so we know there are areas there that we need to work on. Our closing the gap dropped a little bit. So we need to go back in. This is where we look at those individual student groups, our lowest race and ethnic abilities, our special ed, our emergent bilinguals, our at-risk, our ECODIS, all of those student groups. And then, of course, worth saying again, we have 3 A's. We are very happy to announce that both JECA and Crestview maintained their A's. And we are very happy to show that JLA is joining that crowd this year with a 94. So they moved from a B to an A. There are also some little sprinkles, a little cherry on top of the accountability Sunday, I guess. We have distinctions that we're able to earn as well. We have 9 campuses that were able to earn 15 distinctions. So the distinctions, we earned 6 of them as a district. You could see that some of them earned 1 of them earned 2, another 3, and then at the top with JECA, who earned 4. They earn distinctions when you're looking at comparable campuses that they're compared to. Campuses that look like them, how many students, what are their grade spans, same amount of SPED or other student groups, emergent bilinguals. So we earned 6 of the 7 categories, RLA, math, social studies. We also earned it in academic growth, closing the gap, and post-secondary readiness. And then just because it wouldn't be accountability without just giving you the straight numbers, but of the 17 operating elementaries this year, it will be posted, and this is just every campus that was part of our build, part of our story, and their final overall rating. And then, of course, we have the high school and middle schools in the larger box. And then we also have JLA, which is an alternative education rating. And so that is still our secondary campus, which is this slide. But of course, we want to make sure we show everyone that was part of our story last year. So of course, we do have those two campuses that are not rated, but they are an important part of our story because our students come back to their home campuses. So they may not be rated, but they are that instructional delivery at those two buildings that is important. And then for the campuses that closed this year, those students are still with us. The buildings may be closed, those numbers may be closed, but the campuses, the families, and the educators remain part of our story. And so we're continuing it. They're already starting with new lessons, new units, working together, and with their admin support. And so altogether, we're building a forward together. It's progress worth celebrating, work worth continuing. And again, one blueprint, many builders, stronger outcomes. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. So it has the J-Care and then our Bexar County Juvenile on the non-operating side, and then Candlewood, and then Friends, and then Park Village, Rolling Meadows, Spring Meadows, Judson Middle, Kirby Middle, and then Woodlake Hills. Those little plus signs next to Spring Meadows, Kirby, and Woodlake, they did make some double-digit gains as well. They are closed though, so they weren't part of the operating slides.
All right, thank you, Ms. Orozco. I think this is a good high-level overview to kind of really was to let the public know
Yes, ma'am.
really where we landed last school year. And this serves as a really good preview on what the board's going to deep dive with administration next Tuesday. We're doing our academic roundtable, and we're going to be looking at all of the data sets for that, and then we're going to be setting our student outcome goals and guardrails and constraints at next Tuesday's roundtable. So I think this was a great preview for the public of what we're going to dig really into. There's a lot of work. There's 17 more layers of this underneath what you're seeing tonight. And I know you've been digging and 24 hours a day putting everything together, so I appreciate that. So, all right, I'll open it up for my colleagues to see if they have any comments or questions. I will look down this way first. Mr. Macias?
Thank you. Again, I'm excited, and I think you framed it perfectly well. We're not satisfied. We certainly have a lot that we're going to be focusing on, and I appreciate that. But I was interested, I brag about District 4 a lot, the community that I represent on this board, and I did notice Spring Meadows as one of the biggest leaps. When we communicated this, 15 points was the jump for Spring Meadows, but it wasn't in the slide. So you referenced it at the end, but am I wrong? Did it jump 15 points?
Sure did.
So that was pretty significant, right, from where it was. And of course, I do appreciate Converse being in my district as well and seeing that jump up as well. But I just wanted to make sure, I don't want to miscommunicate the excitement of what we're seeing in the turnaround. So I guess next week will be a little bit more detailed in terms of all the diving in a little bit more into the academics and our strategies. All right, thank you.
Ms. Jones, anything?
I'll wait till
Till
Tuesday
next week.
night.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Ms. Lee, any questions or anything? No? Okay, Ms. Knoyer?
I just want to say thank you to all the staff that worked so hard to make these gains happen. Moving the needle 1 point is difficult. Moving it extraordinarily, as some of our campuses did, is truly that, extraordinary. So thank you, every single one of you, and all those out there in YouTube land who are watching and listening. Thank you for your hard work. I certainly appreciate everything you do for our students.
Ms. Stanford?
Yep, I want to echo that. I think some of this is really exciting to see. And go JLA. That is fantastic results at JLA, and I want to just acknowledge that. I'm really excited to see that. Thank you.
Ms. Petit, anything? Okay. All right, no, great. Again, everybody's got their sleeves rolled up and we're all getting to work, right? So I love it. All right, thank you, Ms. Orozco. All right, we will head into our discussion, consideration, action items. We will start with the budget amendment. I'll turn it over to either you, Dr. Dixon, or Dr. Gosh, or Amanda, whoever.
Ms. Martinez can probably walk us through that.
Yes, good evening. Our budget amendment for tonight, it will show a reduction of our budget of $515,000, and that is all done through the staff placements, position control, and that decreased numbers as of the snapshot on August 14th on Friday. There is couple of cross functions, but that is it. Any questions?
I'll look down this way. Questions down here? Questions down here? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion? Nobody wants to. I make a lot of them.
I
so
move
people
that
get
we
used to it.
approve the attached budget amendments for the 2027 fiscal year.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Canoyer, second by Mr. Macias. And we will proceed to vote. All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, we'll move on to B, from talking to Dr. Dixon. So in case everybody doesn't remember what we've done with our policy letter, DC local, we had only given the superintendent authority to hire contract personnel from May 1st through the first day of school. And then anything else had, because the board retains that hiring authority for teachers and any contract personnel. But we still have some critical vacancies like special education. If we find a math teacher wandering down the road, we're gonna grab them, type thing. And those are, we don't want the superintendent to want to have to wait 30 days. So we put this on here so that I can, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make the motion and then we'll talk about it, just so you know what we're asking for. So I move to temporarily suspend the applicable provisions of DC local and authorize the superintendent to hire certified teachers through December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Okay, so motion by Ms. Ryan, second by Ms. Stanford. I want to know what exactly we were proposing, so that if they find any certified teachers and there is a valid high-need vacancy for it, the superintendent has authority to do that on the spot, and you don't have to wait 30 days, and we don't risk losing anybody. So any questions or discussion on that? I'll look down this way first. Down this way. Okay, and we'll see where we're at. Oh, no, go ahead, Mr. Macias.
So, obviously, we've done something similar in the past to delegate authority to the superintendent. In terms of what you mentioned earlier, what would you say, how bad is it right now?
I think it'll be extremely minimal, actually.
Okay.
I just wanted to have the opportunity in the critical teaching fields. If somebody decided to go back to work or moved into the area because our high military existence, that if there was somebody, but I'm very confident right now that with the excess that we have because of this enrollment, we've got some displacements. I think we're going to be able to fill most of what I would call the regular stuff. It's going to go back to the special ed. I think we're even going to have math. My goal is not to have long-term subs in classrooms. And it's not that I have demeaned them in any way. I love them. I mean, they bail us out all the time. But the instructional level, and especially, and we are, number one, concentrating in moving the certified to the high-need schools. The D&F schools are getting our attention first. We're placing there. But other than that, it would have to be something almost weird to happen.
Well, I think I've stressed this here in this boardroom, that our employee retention is absolutely always critical. Okay. And so we would not have these issues if we could retain talent. So there's a lot of retention strategies that we'll have to reevaluate as we go forward. But I've recommended in the past, I don't know if we're doing it or not yet, but to look at some of our retired teachers part-time, not full-time. You got half a day and half a day. that might incentivize. I think I heard we were trying to do that. I just don't know where that ended up, but I know that was a suggestion I made some time ago.
I had been very successful in another district in doing retiree partners. One would do the AM and one would do the PM. They'd have one schedule of classes, and they would share those. And they didn't want the conference period and lunch. They wanted to come in and teach their 3 classes and go home. And so we can certainly look at those things.
I think that could fill the gap, just that little. Thank you.
All right, and the board will still get notification every month at our regular meetings and the personnel report of everybody she hired like we normally do during the summer. So, okay, any other questions or comments on that one? I'll repeat the motion just one more time just so everybody knows what we're voting on. I move to temporarily suspend the applicable provisions of DC local and authorize the superintendent to hire certified teachers through December 31st, 2026 was the motion. So, no, we don't need another second. I just wanted to make sure since we had a discussion after the motion, everybody remembered what we were voting on. So, all right, we will proceed to vote then. Okay, motion passes 7-0. All right, we'll move on to 6C. That is yours, Ms. Stanford. Go ahead.
Okay. This is just to create a committee to have another student ad reading contest like last year was our first one. And I'm hoping that the winners from last year can be shown on the Jumbotron at games like we had discussed when we initiated it last year. So this is just to formally create a committee to do this again, to set the timelines and get the donation for the prizes, and we'll do gift cards again. That was very, very popular. So that's what I have this on the agenda for, to see if there's any. I definitely volunteer to be on the committee and just see if anyone else is interested in helping with that.
Does it need to, so in governance, we'll have board advisory committees, and they do work that gets produced up to the board that is board action, then that is board stuff. So is that a board advisory committee, or is that something that we could just give you the nod and say, we're cool if you do it and you bring whoever you want with it?
Sure.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering, where it falls in the realm of governance.
Yeah, I wasn't sure
type
either.
thing. So, and I think my only concern would be just limiting any requirements on district, because they're busy. Communications is down to not even a handful, less than half of a handful of people, and everybody else is super, super busy. So
I did talk to Kim, and we have the templates from last year already set up. So a lot of the structure is already in place for registering and for putting the submissions into alignment so that we can view it. All of that has already been set up.
Okay, yeah, like I think I'd be fine if giving you the nod to gather whoever wants to do it with you, but if we need to task district with anything, please coordinate that with the superintendent.
Right, I had already talked to Dr. Dixon.
Before, just in case she's got Kim and Lexi working on other things. We don't want to take them away from student outcome-based things, so.
So I wasn't sure if this needed a vote or not, but.
I think it kind of needs a nod. That's my assessment of it from a governance standpoint, that the board's okay with you going off and doing it, and hit up whichever other 2 board members you want to and wants to join you, or one, or, you know, anybody, somebody in the community wants to help you, like however you want to put it together.
Okay.
How about this side of the dais? Are you guys okay with kind of just her doing that?
I have a comment.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Macias.
I obviously have been watching this from afar, Ms. Stanford, and a lot of it gives me the vibe that it might be over our responsibility as a board member. We would allow administration to do it, but I know where you were coming from initially with this, and I just wanted to take a second to say I appreciate it. I think, if anything, it allows us to have more engagement with the community. So there's another added value, and hearing the reports of students and their excitement. I mean, the board is not this big, scary being. We're intended to be engaged with from students as well as employees and community members. So I think the other benefit of this is that it opens that door for conversations, for hellos, and so on. So I just want to tell you it's even better than I thought. I mean, I knew it was good, but I mean, it's great. So I just want to commend you for that.
Well, thank you. Several of us went to the cafeterias to announce this, in addition to it being online and Facebook and all the other places we posted it, we went in person to the cafeteria at lunchtime and announced it. And a lot of them hadn't heard it until then. And they were very excited about the cash prizes. And even Kim was surprised at how many entries we got, just under 40 for our first year doing it. So it was very exciting to me too. So thank you.
Thumbs up. Thank you.
All right, any other comments from down on this end?
I will help again on that committee,
Okay.
Ms. Stanford.
All right, there you go. And if anybody else is interested, send Ms. Stanford a text and.
I had a great time, so if no one wants, I volunteered.
Okay. I don't think anybody's gonna
Thank
fight
you
for
so
it,
much.
So it looks like, there you go. You got your 3 people, and we look forward to, not a formal board advisory committee. We look forward to you bringing the winners back, because that was very enjoyable watching that in the boardroom and celebrating students, which is what we want to be doing in our board meetings. So we look forward to you bringing that back once you wrap up your little project.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, that wraps up that part of the agenda. Now we will move on to the consent agenda. I have to pull 6A because we have one set of minutes that, so close, she got a bunch of them done. But we have one we have to pull. And then I did not see any emails from any other board members on pulling anything from consent. Is that still correct? I didn't get any notifications.
I'll pull S.
I'm sorry, say that letter again.
S is in Sam.
F, okay, S is in Sam, thank you.
Oh.
Okay. All right, seeing no other ones, I will make the motion on this one then. I move that we approve the consent items B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, the motion by Ms. Ryan, second by Ms. Lee. That was much easier when y'all don't pull them out of order and I gotta not do the alphabet in order. So, all right, and we will proceed to vote on the consent agenda. All right, motion passes 7-0. I'll go back and make the motion where the August 3rd minutes are not done. So I move that we approve the minutes from the public hearing on June 25th, the regular meetings on June 25th and July 23rd, and the special meetings on July 9th and July 20th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion by Ms. Ryan, second by Mrs. Potteet, and we will proceed to vote. All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, I will turn over to you, Mr. Macias, for S as in Sam.
Yeah, it's a quick question. I know that we're regulated to make this adjustment based on the House bill that has been put in order. I'm just curious on what the process is. If it's sometimes what I hear from the community is they're not responded to. There's been a non-compliance, or they're not receiving information, or they've been ignored. So what is our protocol, just for my understanding, if it's not, the PIA request is not fulfilled?
Good evening. So all of our PAs are fulfilled. We keep a log with them, and it's accounted for the 10 business days using this calendar. So if a PA is not fulfilled, which they all are, that person can file a complaint with the AG's office, and we would receive that complaint from the AG's office and would have to respond. But we don't have any that are not fulfilled.
Well, I appreciate you putting that rumor to rest, and that's what I
Absolutely.
wanted to make sure, that we had a clear protocol on how that goes, so individuals can put their PIA request in, and we've not had a record of any of them not being fulfilled.
No, sir.
And some of them may take longer because some of the information, if it's protected, that the lawyer letter has to go all the way up to the AG. They're not super fast. It takes them 60, 90 days sometimes even longer.
6 months is the average.
Yep, to go through, and they say which portions of it are releasable. Then it comes back, and then they fulfill the PIA. So it may look like it's not being fulfilled, but that may be because it's pending at the Attorney General's office.
Yes, that might
So.
be the discrepancy as far as unfulfilled, which we don't have any, or paused. Pause would be if we have sent it up to the AG's office for consideration. But all of that is in the portal where the The requester can view that. It's a portal that we have, and so the requester can view that it is paused for AG consideration.
Okay.
And then they receive a letter from us or from the AG's office or from the attorney's office notifying them that it is sent to the AG's office.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay, if no other questions, Mr. Macias, would you like to make the motion?
Yeah, I move that we approve the designation of 10 non-business days for Public Information Act request for calendar year 2027.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Macias, second by Ms. Lee. And we will proceed to vote. All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, we'll go up and down. We're rocking and rolling. It's not even 7 o'clock. Wow. All right, we're gonna go quickly up and down the dais and see what everybody's got going on for training, conferences, and event. I know I jinxed us, didn't I? Sorry. If we all talk too much, somebody will pull the fire alarm. Kidding. I shouldn't say that either. So, all right, Ms. Jones, what do you got?
I'm doing good to know what day we're on, so I am very sorry. I do not remember since our last board meeting what we discussed and what I've done. I'm sorry.
Someone
with
down the
getting kids
line
in
will
school.
probably say it, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I was at that too. So
Yes.
don't worry, we'll catch up. So if you were at anything with Miss Jones, when it gets to
saw
be your
you.
turn,
I saw
please
you, Miss
remind
Jones.
her she was there with you. So, all right, Ms. Lee.
Well, I think the block party right after the board, after the board meeting, that was the first, event that I guess I could say that is successful, and it's just exciting to see a lot of parents with their kids. And this time I didn't kind of pass out. It was really nice because it's not really it's scattered. I think I like that better that way, and a lot of feedback from the parents as well, that it's not because it's last year, I think it's just hard to breathe, so everyone's just outside, enjoying the food trucks and stuff, but not more on the inside. But this time it was separated and scattered all over, and it's just really nice. And it's more like PTO stuff that I attended. The first PTO meeting was Escondido, and it was really great that a lot of parents, they're all full-time jobs, but still manage to, have their time and they're just really excited of this school year. And Woodlake PTO was just yesterday, and it's just nice that a lot of teachers are actually in attendance and participating on, how busy they are, but still they give, their time. And of course, I'm still part of the Metzger PTO, and we just fed breakfast and lunch consecutive day, the 3rd and the 4th, and it's just nice to welcome all the staff and teachers excited about this school year. So I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Canoyer.
I attended the new teacher breakfast, and it was very nice to welcome the new teachers to the district. And thank you to everyone who was a part of that. The block party also is always a very enjoyable event to see so many of our employees who are there to share the wealth, so to speak, make sure that the parents and students in attendance feel welcome and provide materials and resources for them. I want to highlight the ceremony for our unified Judson High School unified basketball team. They received their state championship rings as a three-peat. 3 years in a row, they've become state champions. And it's very exciting to see this mix of students with special needs playing in games with students who are traditional students. And I want to thank our partners at Walsh Gallegos for, again, donating the funds to purchase the rings for those students. That's a very valuable partnership, and they're very supportive of that effort. I also attended Convocation Mixer. That was fun to see everyone there, too. And I want to thank the HEB on Foster Road for donating $5,000 to the Judson Education Foundation. It's lovely to have local partners who see the need and who see what the foundation's able to do for our students and our staff. And then last night I was at Meet the Patriots at the stadium over there at Veterans Memorial High School. I'm looking forward to getting back into the athletic realm again, volleyball and football starting up. And whoever it was that found my phone and turned it into Dr. Arredondo, thank you so much. I was able to retrieve it this morning, and I'm very grateful for that.
Before you even knew it was missing, right?
Exactly.
Right. Skipped all that panic. I attended the block party, and I loved the way, Lexi, that it was organized this year. The way you had it all separated out, it just made it a lot easier to traverse. So thank y'all I know you put a lot of work into that, and thank you. And convocation was great to see people there. I discovered a walking taco. I had never heard of a walking taco before, so that was my first experience with that. I want to give you a quick update on the ad hoc committee on bullying, and especially thank you all for being here tonight. Ms. McGarity and your son, Mark, thank you very much for being here tonight and for speaking. And just know that the committee is working on sharpening our approaches and our systems and our policy to address the situation more effectively. Right now, some changes that were put forward are being reviewed by our attorneys. And we have to look at it from the legal standpoint as well as the applicable standpoint as how principals can put it into effect. So that is where our changes are that came from the committee right now. We might, instead of trying to move it into a policy change, we might put it in a handbook. That might be an easier lift. We have to discuss that with the committee. That might be an easier lift and something we could do a lot sooner and then look to policy maybe down the road. But I want you to know we're working on making changes and addressing the situations that cause students to go through what your friend went through and what you went through. So just know that we're working on it. Thank you.
Mrs. Petit.
So I attended some TEA training out in Austin, which unfortunately meant that I missed the Judson High School basketball, what was that? The ring ceremony. Yeah, because I was up in Austin doing some new trustee TEA training, got to hear Mike Morath speak again, Steve Lechlow, and it's always really good to get the information directly from TEA, not necessarily filtered through TASA, TASB. Don't get me wrong, that's still amazing information, but it is nice to hear it directly from them. So super informative, great training. I also attended the block party, but I was there more as PTO mom versus board member, so I wasn't able to see as many people as I would like, but that's the pitfalls of being a mom and also being on the board. I did go to Crestview's open house because, once again, I have small kids. So I was able to kind of check that out, and it was interesting. It was hot, and it was a lot of people. So that's pretty much what I've been doing since then, and just trying to get the kids off to school. Like, I'm sure so many of the parents out there are getting back into the swing of things, trying to wake those kids up in the morning when they absolutely do not want to. Other than that, just been focusing on kids and getting everything started up again.
That's why I like going last. So a bunch of that stuff that they all said. So I love back to school time because it's summer gets a little, nobody's on campuses. There's not much stuff to do. So I love being able to stop by some of the campuses before school started, when teachers were in there putting their classrooms together and everything else was great, and meet the teachers and other things. So, and now is kind of the time we leave you alone because it's still chaos and car line's still a mess. You're working on it, right? So look forward to, in the next couple of weeks, us getting back out and about. And I love that people are inviting, people to PTO meetings, right? If your PTOs are having meetings and contact whichever of your board members is your in your area, and we'd love to come to those things too. So just go ahead and send calendar invites directly to any board member if you got something going on. There's nothing more frustrating than hearing, you never come visit my campus, and then I go look up in my emails, and I'm like, well, you've never invited me to anything, right? So invite us. We can't make it to everything, but please send the invite, because most of us, if we can fit it in our schedule and we don't have cross-country or football or something else going on, we want to come. So just keep sending them, and we'll make it to as much stuff as we can. But yeah, the TA training was amazing. I love hearing it direct from them, and how they speak about literacy and numeracy and all of the other things, and what boards are supposed to do, and then the networking we get to do with the fellow trustees. We keep seeing the same ones over and over, and it's like, oh, hey, I need something. We got somebody we can reach out to and be like, what are you doing in Katy ISD? Hey, send me your stuff. So it's always great to meet up with them. I think I've got 2 more weeks left in Board Officer Institute, and then that's been going on all summer. So I will finish that up. Another great way to network with board presidents from across the state. And then exciting that we had a great teleconference with TEA about System of Great Schools. And that is something we did very heavily, and they have learning labs across the state that we get to go to. They have professional year-long learning strands that we can participate in. And it is board and district administration and campus leadership. So it's about bringing all 3 levels kind of together in a learning environment, and seeing things that are going great and amazing in other school districts. So we're trying to figure out who's going to go down to Aldine in September. But we're and which strands we might want to participate in for the year, so that anytime we can go watch model schools somewhere and bring that back home, all those good ideas, that's super exciting. So yeah, that's all I have for my training, I think, coming up in the next month. So go ahead, Mr. Macias.
And I just want to take a moment just to recognize the unfortunate passing of Theodore Haynes, a former principal, a longtime employee in our district, and he passed away. Now let's see, we'll try it again. Just wanted, for the record, to just recognize his service to our district and his passing. He'll be missed. I remember always running into Ted Haynes at Cracker Barrel. He liked to eat dinner after a very long day there. But anyway, just wanted to put that on the record. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I'd recently been sent that today, and I forgot to mention it. So, okay, now the board is going to adjourn in a closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meeting Act. All right. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, discussion of personnel, the personnel report, and updates including new hires, resignations, and administrative appointments. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.076, discussion of an exemption to House Bill 3 mandate for 1 armed security officer for each campus. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.076, discussion of intruder detection security audits. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.076 and 551.089, discussion of the 2023 to 2026 Judson ISD 3-year school safety and security audits, which is the individual campuses and facilities safety and security audits, and pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.076 and 551.089, discussion of the 2023 to 2026 district audit report, which is the district safety and security audit. The time is now 7:09, and we are in closed session. All right. The board will now reconvene in open session. The time is 8:29 PM. No final action, decision, or vote was taken while the board was in closed session. All right, we'll proceed with our agenda. Item 9A, I'm going to move that we approve the new hires as recommended by the superintendent in closed session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, God, everybody did, because everybody wants to go home. Now I'm going to give it, all right. Motion by Ms. Ryan, I'll give it to Ms. Lee out of my left ear. If there's no discussion, we will proceed to vote. All right, motion passes 7-0. Agenda item 7B, I move that we approve a resolution authorizing an exception to House Bill 3 mandate for one armed security officer for each campus. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Ryan, second by Ms. Stanford, and we will proceed to vote. Okay, motion passes 7-0. Record that. And agenda item 9C, I move that we approve the 2023 to 2026 Judson ISD three-year school safety and security audits. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion by Ms. Ryan, second by Mrs. Potteet. And if no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All right, motion passes 7-0. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 8:30 PM.